Hello everyone, good morning. Am I audible? Perfect. Okay. So let's begin with the session, guys. Okay, so what is the topic which we are going to see in today's session is something called as constructors. Okay. So in yesterday's session, we have spoken about a lot many important topics. Something called as blocks, right? We understood what is static blocks and non-static blocks, and we have seen a couple of examples. Correct. Now, as of now, the timings is at 9:30. So let me talk to Lavanya sir once. Okay, so once I'm done talking to him, I'll come up with some new timings here. Okay, so I'll let you know. Okay, I'll confirm it by tonight or tomorrow. Okay, at the maximum. Okay, I'll talk to him once, and I'll let you know about the exact Java class timings. Okay. So yes. Okay. So what are we going to see in today's session here? Okay, it's a beautiful concept and one of the most important topic here going ahead. Okay, something called as constructor. Okay, so this is a very important topic for your interview perspective, for your project perspective, as well as in order to understand the future classes of Java here. This is the prerequisite for it. Okay, so this topic I'll be using it widely. Okay, when we talk about arrays, collections. Okay, so we use this topic here. Okay, when we store the objects, right? So this plays a major role here. Okay, so let us try to concentrate and understand. Okay, what are constructors here? Okay, it's a very simple part. Okay, constructors are nothing but a set of instructions again used for initialization. Okay, used for initialization and instantiation. Okay, what are constructors? Constructors are a set of instructions used for initialization and instantiation. We know what is initialization, don't we? Right? So this is assigning the values. Initialization means assigning the values, whereas instantiation means object creation. Okay, we know how do we create an object, right? So the object creation technical term which we use is instantiation. Okay, and then whenever we talk about constructors, the second point here is whenever we create a constructor here, okay, the class name and the constructor name should always be same. Okay, that's one mandatory rule here. What is it? Always the class name and the constructor name should always be same here. You don't have a choice. It should always be same. That's the second point which we have to understand here. And the third point here is it does not have any explicit return type here. Okay, constructors will never have any return type over here. Okay, and when does the constructor get executed? Whenever we talk about object creation, the constructors will always get executed whenever we create an object here. Okay, during object creation here, simultaneously the constructor will also get executed here. Okay, so these are the few things which we are supposed to understand when we talk about constructors. Got the clarity here? Okay, so now here what did you understand? Constructors are a set of instructions used for initialization and instantiation. Clear? Now second point. Okay, whenever we talk about constructors, the rules meaning class name and constructor name should always be same. Okay, and constructors will never have return type, whereas methods had return type. Okay, but constructors will never have return type. Okay, and in order, when does the constructor get executed? Simultaneously, when I create an object, simultaneously the constructors will also get executed. Okay, and then if you talk about the syntax here, okay, if you talk about the syntax, I will show you the syntax here. First, we have to give the access specifier. Okay, we have to specify, right, access specifier. Then we have to write the class name. Okay, or the constructor name and class name should be same. Open parenthesis, close, open curly braces, close. This is the scope of the constructor, and optionally I can pass arguments to it. Okay, optional arguments I could pass here. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand when we talk about constructors here. Okay, and there are many types of constructors. There are actually speaking two types of constructors. Okay, so imagine this is point number 5 here, the syntax, and the sixth point here is there are two types of constructors. One is called as default constructor, okay, and the other one is called as custom constructor or user defined constructor. So what is the actual meaning of it? Everything I'm going to do it in a beautiful way, trust me. Okay, so you just need to have the patience level, and I'll just help you out in all possible ways here. Okay, don't worry about anything. Okay, until I'm done, until the end of the session you'll have complete clarity. Okay, so now here, look at the process here. My requirement is to create a beautiful class. Okay, so I will create a class. C class, and the class name, I'll take it as car here. Okay, car. Open curly braces and close curly braces is the scope of the car here. So what did you understand? Class is a blueprint of an object, or it's a platform to store the states and behaviors of an object, right? And what is the class name? And the class name is car. Okay, the class name is car, meaning I'm trying to store all the states and behaviors of car class. Okay, now great. Now here I want to create a constructor. What is rule number 1? Class name and constructor name should always be same, right? Then followed by open parenthesis close, and followed by open curly braces and close here. This is nothing but the constructor. You might tell, sir, access specifier, sir. You can ignore the access specifier as of now. Okay, it's automatically default here. We will talk about in detail later. But as of now, you can ignore the access specifier. And I just give one line of implementation. Okay, I just give one line of implementation stating SOP, I just write it as hi, just for my understanding, to understand the flow of execution. SOP hi here, and then I'll also have main method here. Okay, I'll also have the main method wherein the execution will generally begin from. Okay, so here I'm just reducing the size here. I'll have my main method, public static void main string array of arguments, open curly braces and close curly braces is the scope of the main method. Okay, and for my understanding, again I just write it as system.out.println. I just write it as start at the beginning, and then system.out.println end at the last here, end at the last here. Okay, so I have start and I have end over here, right? Perfect. Now here, what am I supposed to do here? What will be my output as of now? Sir, the execution always starts from main method, sir. Start will get executed, end will get executed. That's it. But now, when will the constructor get executed here? The constructors will always get executed at the time of object creation. So whenever I create an object, simultaneously the constructor will also get executed. So how do I create an object? Class name, object name equals to new class name of, and this is called as, okay, constructor call. What do we call this as? We call this as constructor call. Okay, this is nothing but constructor call. Okay, I am invoking the constructor during object creation. So immediately what happens, when I create an object here, I will show it to you. Okay, see, now here when my execution will start from the main method, no, start will get executed. Now when I create an object, simultaneously the constructor will also get executed. So the control slowly goes over here. And what is the output? Hi will get printed. Hi will get printed, and the control will come back to the constructor call. And what is the next line? End. Start. Okay, object got created, meaning simultaneously constructor will get executed. That is the reason I'll get the output as hi, and end here. If you could closely observe, see, class name and constructor name is same. Constructors will never have return type, and constructors will get executed during object creation. So these are the few things which we are supposed to understand when we talk about constructors in a beautiful manner. Okay, got the basic idea of it here, right? Okay, Now, what am I going to do over here? Okay, I'll tell you over here. Okay, so now in this respective process here, I open Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse is the place wherein the execution, we use it as a platform to execute it, right? So now here, to work around with Eclipse, it's a three-step process. I have always told you, correct? So let me create a project here. Okay, let me create, you can just click on this icon, new, and create a Java project, and the Java project name is constructors. Okay, constructors. Okay, so there's a beautiful project got created which is called as constructors here. Under constructors, we have something called as src. Under src, let me create a package. Control N. I will create a package and the package name is com, right? So project got created and package got created. Okay, and once we are done creating a project and package here, okay, I will create a class, and the class name is car here. Okay, what will be the class name here? I just give the class name as car here. Okay, and the beautiful class will get created now. Right. So now, what do you mean by package com? There's a folder called as com, and the class name is car. So the Java program name will be car.java, that is present in com folder. And class is a blueprint of an object, and public is the access specified. Even if you don't write it, it will work fine. Okay, so it will work fine, you don't have to worry. Okay, so now here, how will I create a constructor? Class name and constructor name will be same. Open parenthesis close, open curly braces close here. So here I'll write it as, okay, I'll just write system.out.println. I'll just write one set of instructions called as hello. That's it. Okay, I'm just printing dummy line. Okay, and my execution will always start from the main method. Main control space bar. Okay, and now I'm done with this. Now similarly, okay, for my understanding, I'll just have start, and for my understanding, I will have end. Okay, so now when I execute my program here, the execution always begins from main method, and my program has only two lines of code, that is start and end. Okay, the main method has only two lines of implementation, that is start and end will get executed. But I want to, call the constructor as well. When will the constructor get executed? Sir, when you create an object here, simultaneously constructor will also get created. So what will I do here? I will create an object car C equals to new car of. I create an object in a beautiful manner. If you want, I can maximize the screen, and when I execute it, look at the output what I get here. I get it as, if I just execute it, I got it as start, hello, end. Why? Start got executed. I created an object, meaning simultaneously constructor got executed, and then end here. So this is an example for, okay, this is an example for non-parameterized. Okay, what is this example for? Non-parameterized custom constructor. Okay, custom constructor. Okay, what do you mean by non-parameterized? Non-parameterized meaning the constructor is not accepting any arguments or parameters. It is not accepting any arguments or parameters. Custom constructor meaning since we have explicitly defined the constructor here, we call it as user defined constructor, correct? Because I have explicitly defined it into my class. So we call it as custom constructor. So we have one program, we understood one program. Similarly, I'm going to do one more program wherein you'll have better clarity of it. Control N, okay, I will create a class, okay, I will create a class and it's asking me the class name. I'll just give the class name as bike here. Okay, what is the class name? Bike here. Okay, now here we understood, we have a class here. Okay, now you can ignore this public. As I told you, you can ignore this public. Now I want to create a constructor. How will I create a constructor? Sir, class name and constructor name should be same. Open parenthesis close, open curly braces close here. Got it? Understood? Now, I will just make sure the constructor will accept some argument called as cost. Okay, it will accept one integer argument called as cost, and I'm just printing that respective data here. Okay. cost plus cost. Here I'm just trying to print the constructor. That's it. So I'll have my main method wherein the execution will always start from. Okay, and I want to invoke the constructor, meaning mandatorily I have to create an object. So I'll create an object over here. But why the hell is it giving an error, some kind of an error here? It's common sense. Okay, the compiler is nicely scolding us. Okay, it's nicely scolding. Okay, why? Because it's telling, hey, dabba fellow, when you create an object here, simultaneously the constructor will get executed. And the constructor is accepting some argument, right? You better pass the value. Okay, I will pass. Okay, I pass dinga. Okay, but again the constructor, I mean the compiler is nicely scolding us. Why? It's telling when I create an object, okay, when I create an object, the constructor is getting executed. And he wanted one argument, right? I passed one argument dinga, but why still is he giving an error? He's telling, hey dabba fellow, I am accepting an integer argument, but you are passing a string argument. How will I execute here? You better pass me an integer argument. So I pass it as 1000. Will it get executed? Yes. Why? When I create an object, simultaneously constructor will get executed and it is accepting int cost. Okay, that's accepting an argument cost which is of type int. Therefore, I am passing 1000. The 1000 will get stored into cost here. So what will be the cost here? The cost will get assigned to 1000. So now what will be the output? Cost equals to 1000 will get printed. Look at the output. Did I get the expected output? Yes. So this is an example for parameterized custom constructor. Parameterized meaning the constructor is accepting some arguments here, and since we have explicitly defined the constructor, we call it as custom constructor. Got the clarity? So this is what we are supposed to understand here. Got it? Understood? You got the differentiation between parameterized custom constructor and non-parameterized custom constructor. Okay. On my LHS, it's non-parameterized custom constructor. Why? The constructor is not accepting any arguments, but I have explicitly defined. It's custom. In the RHS here, I have a constructor which is accepting certain arguments. So it is parameterized custom constructor because I have explicitly defined it. Okay, so these are the few things which we are supposed to understand. Okay, now very good. We all understood this concept in a beautiful manner. But now, sir, one more instance I'll give you. Okay, now. So just try to understand. I have a class called as pen. Okay, I have a class called as pen, and I will have my main method wherein the execution will always begin from, right? So I have a beautiful class, I have a beautiful method, main method, and my execution will always start from main method. So what I do, I will create an object, correct? Now, when I create an object here, simultaneously the constructor will get executed. Correct. When I create an object, this is nothing but constructor call. The constructor should get executed, no? But there is no constructor at all in my class. What will happen here? In the first example, I created an object. I had returned the constructor. So when I create an object, that constructor will get executed. In second example, similar. I created an object. I had explicitly defined the constructor, so I invoked it. But in the third example, in the third instance, I create an object of pen. And when we create an object of pen, simultaneously, okay, simultaneously, what happened over here? Okay, I have to invoke the constructor. But there is no constructor at all, no? There is no explicit constructor at all, right? Okay, therefore, okay, if there is no explicit constructor present inside my class, then there is a person called as compiler. What he does, he will automatically generate a constructor called as default constructor. Got the clarity? I repeat, okay, see, when there is no explicit constructor present in my class, okay, therefore compiler will automatically generate a constructor, and that is called as default constructor. Okay, and the default constructor will neither accept any arguments nor has any implementation. So internally something like this would have got created. Okay, so this is default. Okay, this is virtually present over here. Okay, I repeat, this is virtually. Just a moment, guys. Some issue. Correct. Okay, so now here, what was I trying to tell here? This is virtually present within the data here. Got the clarity? So this is implicitly present. Okay, that is the reason we call it as default constructor here. Got the clarity here? This is what we are supposed to understand here. So every class in Java will mandatorily have a constructor. If you cannot see the constructor, implicitly the compiler would have generated one constructor, and that is called as default constructor, which will neither accept any arguments nor has any implementation. It would look something like this here. Internally, implicitly, default constructor is present here. Got the clarity? So this is nothing but what? Implicitly present. Implicitly present. Okay, implicitly present. And who generates it? Compiler. That is the default constructor. This is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to constructors topic here. Okay, so let me go back to the program here. Okay, let me go back to the notes here so that you'll have a good clarity about it. Okay, now first of all, guys, okay, what are constructors here? Constructors are a set of instructions. Okay, see, constructors are a set of instructions, or we also call it as a special methods here. Okay, constructors are a set of instructions or special methods used for initialization and instantiation. It is used for initialization. How? I will tell you. And instantiation, we know it. When we create an object, simultaneously constructor will get executed. And what is the second rule? Sir, constructor name and class name should always be same here. You like it, you don't like it. You have to follow this rule. What is it? Class name and constructor name will always be same here. Did constructors have return type? No, constructors will not have any return type. Did I use void somewhere? Did I use int somewhere? No, constructors will never have return type. And when will the constructors get executed? Sir, you create an object and simultaneously constructor will get executed, right? We have the beautiful syntax. Okay, how do we develop a constructor here? And constructors are generally categorized into two types. What are those? Default constructor and custom constructor, that is user defined constructor. So there are two types of constructors which is available in Java, that is default constructor and custom constructor. Got the clarity here? Understood here? Okay, now here, what is default constructor? Understand, okay, what is default constructor? Default constructor is nothing but, okay, wait, let me just push it down. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now just read out each and every point. If a constructor is not explicitly present inside the class, then the compiler will automatically generate a constructor. And that constructor is called as default constructor, meaning every class will have a type of constructor. If you don't have default constructor, custom constructor will be there. If you don't have custom constructor, default constructor will be there. Okay, default constructor neither accepts any arguments nor has any implementation. Got it? See here, guys, if in this explicit example over here, see, this is my main method wherein the execution starts. I create an object, no, simultaneously constructor should get executed, but there is no constructor at all explicitly defined. Then what will happen? The compiler will generate one constructor which will look something like this. Okay, which will look something like this here. This constructor is implicitly present, and who generates it? The compiler would have generated it. Okay, so this is what we call it as, okay, default constructor. See, it neither accepts any argument, neither has any implementation. Got it? Okay, sir. Default constructor meaning compiler will generate. What is custom constructor, sir? If a constructor is explicitly defined inside a class, okay? If the user or the programmer is explicitly defining the constructor inside a class, we call it as custom constructor. And they are categorized into what? Parameterized and non-parameterized. Okay, that is what I did in the first and second example. See, I am explicitly defining the constructor, so therefore it is custom constructor, and this is non-parameterized custom constructor. In second example, I have explicitly defined the constructor, it is custom constructor, but this is parameterized custom constructor. Got it? Now here I have a class called as pen. Okay, here do we have any explicit constructor? No, this is implicitly, virtually present. The compiler would have generated. Therefore, we call it as default constructor. Okay, so this is all about the entire process. Okay, now, and there's one more small note which you need to understand. What is that note? Okay, when there is default constructor, custom constructor cannot be present. And when there is custom constructor, default constructor cannot be there. Meaning, inside a class, there can be only one type of constructor. Either it is default or either it is custom. Both cannot be present at a time here. Okay, now, if there is default, custom cannot be there. If there is custom, default cannot be there. Got the clarity? This is all about, okay, the constructors topic. But we need to understand a lot many topics in detail. Okay, now, don't worry about it. I am going to help you out in all possible manner. Okay, now is the thing which we need to understand is the topic now which I am going to discuss now. Okay, so kindly concentrate for one example. So that is what we are supposed to understand in the future. Okay, now slowly concentrate. Okay, now it's not difficult. It's very simple, easy topic. Okay, now I will have a beautiful class called a student, guys. See, class, and the class name is student. Okay, open curly braces and close curly braces. Okay, we know what is a class. It's a platform or a blueprint to store the states and behaviors of an object, a step. And what is the class name? Student. So all the student related properties, I am storing it inside the class. Every student will definitely have a property called as age. And is the age same for all the students? No, it will differ, correct? Okay, so every student will have a property called as age. And what is the job of a constructor? To initialize, correct? Therefore, I will create a constructor. Class name and constructor name is same. Open parenthesis. Oh, before that, okay, before that. Okay, as of now, is the class having any constructor? Yes or no? You might tell no, sir, but yes, this class is having a constructor. If you cannot see, the compiler would have automatically generated. That is the default constructor. Every class will have a constructor mandatorily. If you cannot see, it's default. If you can see, it is custom. Aste. As of now, have I defined any constructor? No. So default constructor is virtually implicitly present. Now I explicitly define. See, class name is student and the constructor name is also student. Open parenthesis close and open curly braces close. Is this an example for default constructor or custom constructor? Sir, this might look similar to default constructor, but since I have explicitly defined it, we will refer it as custom constructor. As of now, it is an example for non-parameterized custom constructor. Non-parameterized meaning as of now it is not accepting any arguments and it is defined explicitly by the constructor. So it is non-parameterized custom constructor. But now what I'll do, I will make sure the constructor will accept some argument called as a. Why? Because I have to initialize the age, right? And this a, I am initializing it into a variable called as age. Sir, what is happening over here, sir? What is happening over here, sir? I will explain it to you in a beautiful manner here. Okay? Concentrate. Everyone concentrate. Sir, you will have your main method, sir, wherein the execution will always begin from. Correct? So execution will always begin from where? Begin from the main method here. Okay? Public static void main string array of arguments, open curly braces and close curly braces. This is wherein the execution starts from, right? Now here, closely observe, guys. Okay? Student, I create an object. Student S1 equals to student S1 equals to new student of. Okay, what is the output we get here? Okay, what is the output as of now, guys? What will be the output here? So there will be compile time error. Sir, why sir compile time error here? Why? Sir, when we create an object here, simultaneously the constructor will get executed. and the constructor is accepting an integer argument. You are not passing anything. So the compiler will nicely slap left and right and tell Dabba fellow, pass one integer value. Okay, now, okay, I need to pass. No, I will pass one value called as 21. Now what will happen? Sir, new meaning, one object is getting created, sir. Correct? And the address of the object is 111, sir. And who is pointing? S1 is pointing to that particular object, sir. And why did I create an object? To store the non-static properties within the memory. Which is the non-static property? Age. This age will get initialized to the default value 0. Why? Because the variable is just declared and not initialized to any value. Therefore, it will get initialized to the default value 0. And simultaneously, the constructor is also getting executed. So the control goes here. Jig, 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 jig. The control goes to the constructor. And what is the A value I am passing now? The A value I am passing is 21. So A means 21. The 21 is getting stored into a variable called as age, and that age is a non-static variable present within the object. So the age will get initialized to 21. Got the clarity here? Understood? Similarly, sir, can I create one more object? Create student. S2 equals to new student of. Okay, new student of. Now what will be the output? Compile time error. Why? Sir, while creating an object, simultaneously constructor will get executed. The constructor is accepting some argument. You are not passing anything. So I need to pass some value. Okay, I will pass 22. So now what happens? Sir, when you tell new, an object is getting created, sir. Right? And what is the object address? 222. And which is the reference pointing to it? S2 is pointing to the object 222. And which is the non-static variable? Age. This age will get initialized to the default value 0 as of now. Why? Because it's just declared, Ashte. Now then, what will happen? Slowly, the constructor is also getting the control goes to the constructor. And what is the age I'm passing now? The age is 22. Okay. So now when I tell A, it is 22. That 22 is getting stored into a variable age, and that age is present within the object. Now S2 is acting, no. In S2, the age will get initialized to 22. Got it? So the job of the constructor is to initialize. Got it? Therefore, now when I try to print system.out.println, if I want to print the content s1.age, what will be the output? Space and s2.age. What will be the output? Sir, s1.age is 21 and s2.age is 22. Why? s1.age is 21, s2.age is 22. So this is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to the constructors topic. Okay, now here, sir, can we execute it, sir? 101% we can execute so many programs here. Okay, I'll give you a lot of clarity here. Okay, don't worry. Control N, and I will create a class. Okay, and the class name will be student. Okay, and then the class name is student, and then each and every, see, I'll just remove this public here because I don't like as of now. Okay, so it's a simple Java program. Package com meaning, sir, there is a folder called as com, sir. Student.java file is present in the com folder, sir, and class is a blueprint, sir. Ashte. And every student will have something called as age. Correct? And the constructor I will create class name, constructor name same, open parenthesis close, open curly braces close. Therefore, the constructor will accept some argument A, and that argument A I will store it into age. Okay, see, RHS to LHS. Assigning will always happen from RHS to LHS. Now I'll have my main method wherein the execution begins from I create an object. See, student s1 equals to new student of. Why the hell is it giving an error? Sir, common sense, sir. Because when you create an object, constructor will get executed, sir. The constructor is accepting an integer argument. So make sure you pass some value, sir. Okay, I pass 21. So this 21 will get stored into A, and that A, that is nothing but 21, will get stored into age of S1 object. Similarly, when I create one more object S2 and I pass 22. So now what happens? 22 I am passing it to A, and that 22 is getting stored into age of which object? S2 object. So therefore, two objects got created, two instances got created, two copies got created. Therefore, so I can just easily print it as, okay, age colon, okay, plus s1 dot age. This is students 1 age, and simultaneously I can print the students 2 age as well. Okay, I can directly print it as s2 dot age here. So now when I execute it, did I get my expected output? See here, I got the output as age equals to 21 and age equals to 22. I got the output in the most brilliant manner. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand. Okay, constructors are used for initializing. Got the clarity here? Okay, now beautiful. So I will be talking about multiple examples here, but as of now, anyone having any confusions, guys? As of now, anyone having any confusions here? Okay, I'll be explaining a lot many topics here, but as of now, anyone having any confusions, guys? You can let me know if you have any confusions. We can sort it out. As of now, any confusions? Anyone? Quickly answer. We'll go ahead. No, very good, very good. Okay, now here, okay, since you all understood this topic here, okay, now we are supposed to continue. Okay, the continuation of this particular topic is we need to understand something called as, okay, member variable and local variable. Okay, what is member variable and local variable? We need to talk about this entire process. Okay, sir, what is that, sir? Okay, I will do it in a beautiful manner here. See here, we need to talk about a topic called as global, or we also call it as member variable, and, okay, and what is it? A local variable and local variable. Got the clarity here? Okay, now understood. Great. Now here, imagine I have a class. Class name is A. Okay, open curly braces, close curly braces. Okay, now inside this particular class, I will declare a variable. See, int x here. Okay, int x equals to 10. Is it a global variable or a local variable? Sir, if you declare a variable within the class limit, we generally refer it as global variable or member variable. If you declare any variable within the class here, we call it as global variable or member variable. Similarly, sir, I will have one method. Void is the return type. M1 is the method name. Open parenthesis close and open curly braces close here. This is the method here. Okay, now this method is accepting certain arguments. See, int y, okay, and int z here. So now y and z are local variables or global variables. Sir, if a variable is declared within a specific scope, we generally refer it as, okay, what? Local variables. Okay, in simple terms, if you declare a variable within a class, its member, if a variable is declared within a specific scope here, they are called as local variables. Okay, similarly, I will have a constructor. Sir, class name is A. The constructor name will also be A here, right? Open curly braces, close curly braces. And here I will accept int I, okay? And here I will write it as int j. So are they local variables or global variables? Okay, it's local. Why? Sir, this variable I and j are declared within a specific scope. Therefore, we generally refer it as what? Local variables. Got the clarity here? So how do you differentiate between a member variable and local variable? If a variable is declared within a class, it's member variable. Apart from that, if you find declaration in one specific scope here, we call it as local variables. Okay. Member variables are also called as global variables because we can access it globally. Everywhere throughout the class we can access. But local variables can be accessed only within that scope, meaning this y and z can be accessed only within that scope, and this I and j can be accessed only within that scope. I can do anything only within that block, okay? Outside that block, I cannot do anything. But if it's a global variable, I can access it wherever I want throughout the class. Within this method also I can access, within this constructor also I can access. So global variables can be accessed throughout. Got the clarity here? Understood? Clear? Now here, generally speaking, when I spoke about variables, I told you this topic. Okay. So what was the topic here? I told you this part. Okay. If you all remember. Okay. What are variables? Sir, variables are nothing but containers to store something. Okay. What are variables? Variables are a container to store something. They are generally classified into two types. What are those two types I told you? I told you one is called as member variables, or we generally refer it as global variables. Okay. And another one is local variables. And global variables are further classified into two types. One is called as static variables, another one is called as non-static variables. Clear? Understood here? So now, if I have a class A, okay now. So now here, I will have two variables. See, int x is one variable and int y. X and y are member variables or local variables. Sir, it's member variable, sir. Why? If a variable is declared within the class directly, we call it as member variable or global variable. And that member variable or global variable can either be static or non-static. So this is a member variable only, but it's a static variable. It's a member variable only, but it is non-static. Understood? Variables are containers to store some data. Okay. And member variable meaning a variable which is declared within the class, and that can be accessed globally throughout that class. And they are further classified into static and non-static. If a variable is declared using static keyword, it's static. If not, it is non-static. And what are local variables? If it is declared within a specific scope, within the method if it is present, within the constructor if it is present, within a specific block it is present, they are all called as local variables. Got the clarity? Ashte guys, ashte. Okay, now here, okay, so just look at the notes which I have here. Okay, so just look at the notes which I have here. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So here just closely observe, you'll only get the complete clarity of this entire topic here. Okay, see what are global or member variable and local variables here. Okay, global or member variables are those variables which are declared within the specific, which is declared within the class limit. If a variable, if you find the declaration in the class, it's a global variable and they can be accessed globally, meaning throughout you can access, and they are further classified into static, non-static. And local variables are declared within a specific limit, okay, such as a method or a constructor, and they are accessible only within that specific scope. We cannot access it outside. So whatever I told theoretically, okay, I have written it down over here. I have documented it as well. So that I'll be forwarding it to you later so that you can understand. Sir, what was the necessity you did this topic, sir? I will tell you. Okay. Now I go back to my program. Okay. Now it's common sense. Control N and I will create a class called as kangaroo. Okay. And I'll write it as package level because you don't want public access specifier. No. So I'll write it as package. And then I'll tell finish. Okay, done. So you understood the beautiful class here, right? Now I'll have a variable double height equals to, okay, 5.5. Firstly, you need to understand, sir, is it a member variable or a local variable? Sir, I am not blind, sir. It is present within a class, sir. Therefore, it's a member, or we can also call it as global variable. Understood? This is a global variable. And secondly, it's a global variable. We understood it's a member variable. But is it static or non-static? Sir, it's non-static, sir. Why? Because it is not declared. We have not declared using static keyword. So this is nothing but non-static. Are you all able to understand here? It's a member variable. Member variable, again we have static, non-static. But since there is no static keyword, it's non-static. Clear? Done. Very good. Then I have a method void. Display is the method name. Open parenthesis close. Open curly braces no. Now I have double x equals to 4.4. Is this a local variable or a member variable? Sir, this is a local variable, sir. Why? Because we have declared within a specific scope. This x has been declared within a specific scope. Therefore, it is local to that method. They can be accessed only within that method. So, therefore, it is a local variable. Got the clarity? It is a local variable. Understood? We are done with this respective part here. Now here, apply common sense. You need to apply the common sense over here. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will change the variable name. Okay. HEIGHT. If you could closely observe, sir, the local variable and the member variable names are same. Is it possible? Absolutely possible. Okay. Local variables and member variable names can be same. Okay. Doesn't matter. But what is important, I will tell you now. What is important, I will tell you now. I'll have my main method wherein I will create an object of kangaroo, k equals to new kangaroo. And when I tell k dot display, what will be the output? Now now it's your task. What is it, sir? I created my execution starts from main method. I created an object and I'm calling the display method. Why? Because it's a non-static method. Here, the local variable height and the member variable height, both the names are same. Now, when I try to print the height, will it print 4.4 or will it print 5.5? Okay, you have to think and tell me. Quickly tell me, guys. Let me. You all predict it, okay? If you're wrong, we will understand, okay, na? So, yeah, 4.4 or 5.5. Think and tell me. Think. Analyze. Okay, so now here you get the output. Okay, you can see the output for yourself. Okay, you'll only get the output here. Okay, so you got the output as 4.4. How, sir? When the local variables and the member variable names are same, always the local variables will dominate. Okay, local variables will have lot of power. So therefore, within that scope, the local variable value will be pointed, that is 4.4, because local variables will dominate. Therefore, in order to differentiate, in order to access the member variable, we will make use of a keyword. What is that keyword? This dot height. When I tell this dot height, I'm getting the output as 5.5, meaning this keyword is used to point to the current object's variable. So kangaroo is the current object, correct? And that height is a non-static variable. So which is the current object? Kangaroo object. So when I tell this dot height, it is pointing to the current non-static variable that is present within the object. That is nothing but height here. So I get the output as 5.5. Got it? So what is the actual meaning of this? I will tell you now. Okay, don't worry about it. So now if you could closely scroll the notes here, I have written the data. In Java, okay, what is it here? In Java here, I have told one data. What is it? In Java, we can have both member variable and local variables same. Then what happens here? Local variables will always dominate it. Okay, local variables will always dominate it. In order to avoid it, okay, we make use of which keyword? This. And what is this keyword? This is a keyword which is used to point to the current object or instance. This is the most important point. What is this keyword? This is used to point to the current instance or the current object. Okay, now got the clarity? So now we will talk about it in detail here. We will talk about this particular concept in detail here. Let me give a couple of examples here. So one program you understand, guys, we are done. Okay, one program closely. Okay, so if you're all sleeping, wake up now. Okay, it's time to wake up. Even if you're hungry, if you haven't had your breakfast, even I haven't had. Okay, even I didn't have my breakfast because from morning I had sessions back to back. Okay, so now here we will try to understand this topic and later go have breakfast nicely. Okay, now here I will have a class. See, class, and the class name is, I will write it as person. Okay, now done. Open curly braces and close curly braces. Right? Now here each and every person will have two properties. What is it? Int age, okay, and string name. So every person will have two properties, age and name here. Got it? So person class, it has two properties, that is age and name. Okay. Now I want to initialize them with the help of a constructor. Sir, class name, constructor name should be same. So the class name is person. So the constructor name will also be person. Okay. Open parenthesis, close, and open curly braces, close. Right? Now here I need to make sure, okay, the constructor will accept certain arguments because I want to initialize the age and name. No. So the constructor has to accept certain arguments. So the constructor will also accept the age, okay, and he will also accept the name. But these are all local variables. Why? This age and name is declared within the specific scope. So it's a local variable, right? But what is the logic of initialization over here? So since the local variable and the member variable names are same, I have to use this dot age equals to age here. Okay. Similarly, this dot name equals to name here. Sir, what are you trying to do, sir? I will explain it, guys. Do not worry about it. Okay. So now here I will differentiate it in a beautiful manner. Okay. So now here I will have my main method. Public static void main, string array of arguments, open curly braces and close. Now concentrate everyone. Okay. Firstly, I will create one object. See, person P1 equals to new person of. I am creating an object of person. Got the clarity? Now, if I'm creating an object of person, since the person constructor is accepting certain arguments, I need to pass those values. So the age of person 1 is 20 and his name is Tom. I am passing those respective values. See, age and name. So age is 20 and the name is Tom. I'm passing multiple arguments. Okay. Now internally what will happen? Sir, when I tell new, an object will get created internally, sir. Okay, what will get created internally? One object will get created internally. And what is the address of the object? 111. And who is pointing to that object? P1. Okay. And what is the job of the object? To store the non-static properties within the memory. So the age will get initialized to 0 because the default value for int is 0 and the name will get initialized to the default value none. Okay, because it's string, right? And simultaneously, okay, and simultaneously the constructor will also get called slowly. The control will go to the constructor. And what is the age I'm passing? It is 20. And what is the name I'm passing? It is Tom here. So the age and name is Tom, 20 and Tom here. So when I tell age, it is pointing to the local variable age, that is 20. The 20 is getting stored into a variable age of the current object. This meaning current object. So which is the current object? P1. In P1, the age is getting initialized to 20. Similarly, what is the name? The name is nothing but Tom. The Tom is getting stored into a variable name of the current object, which is the current object P1. So P1 dot name will get initialized to Tom here. Understood the importance of this keyword here? It is used to point to the current object. Similarly, can you do it for one more object, sir? I can. person P2 equals to new person of. I create an object of one more person. But what is the value? Person's age is 22 and his name is, I'll write it as Tim. Okay, what is his name? Tom Tim. Okay, now internally what is happening? Sir, when you tell new sir, one object is getting created, sir. Okay, one object is getting created with the address 222. And who is pointing? P2 is pointing, right? And then simultaneously, I have to store the non-static data. That is, age will get initialized to the default value 0 and the name will get initialized to the default value null here. And simultaneously, what is happening over here? The constructor is also getting executed. Just how the control goes, zip, 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 the control goes here. What is the age I'm passing now? 22. And what is the name I'm passing now? Tim here. So the age is 22. That is getting stored into a variable age of the current object, which is the current object now, P2. In P2, the age will get initialized to 22 and the name is Tim. Tim will get stored into a variable name of the current object, which is the current object P2. In P2, the name will get initialized to Tim here. This is all about the data initializing the content. So I can just print their respective details. P1.age, P2.age, P1.name and P2.name. I can print those respective content. So what is P1.age, P2.age, P1.name, P2.name? I'll get the respective content. This is all about the respective content here. Got it? Understood here? I go back to my program here. I go back to my Eclipse. So now I'll create a class called as person. Okay, I'll create a class called as person. Okay, now here in person class, each and every person will have two properties. That is int age and then string name. Correct? So the every person will have two properties, that is age and name. So therefore, okay, now I want to initialize it. So class name, constructor name, same, open parenthesis close, open curly braces close here. Okay. Now what should the constructor do here? The constructor should accept. See, I want to initialize the age and name. So I can write it as int age, comma, string name. So it should accept both arguments. You might tell, sir, can I give the variable names as different, sir? Possible. Why will you give it as a and n here? It should be a good standard, no? That is the reason I give it as age and name only. But now here, since the local variables and the member variable names are same, the local variables will always dominate. But I need to point to the current, the member variable, no? So I'll tell this dot age equals to age here. And this dot name equals to name here. That's it. If you want to cross check, press Control on your keyboard. Press Control on your keyboard. Hover on the method. Click on the method. Can you see where is it taking to? It's taking me to the local variable. Press Control on your keyboard. Hover on the method. Click on the method. Variable. Where is it taking to? The member variable. Press Control on the keyboard. Hover on the variable. Click on the variable. It's pointing to the local variable. Press Control on the keyboard. Hover on the variable. Click on the variable. See, it's pointing to the global variable. So that is the reason we make use of this keyword. And then I will have my main method wherein the execution will always begin from, but generally I told curly braces, we follow it in the same line. Okay, we generally try to have the curly braces in the same line. So I will create an object of person. Person P1 equals to new, person of age is 20 and the name is Tom. Okay, and the name is Tom here. Again, person P2 equals to new person of. Okay, and what is the name? Name is 22 and the name I can give it as anything. I'll just give it as Tim here. Got it? So now here, so I'll just print the person details. See, person details. Okay, I can do it in a beautiful manner here. Okay, person details. So I'll just write it as sysout. Okay, name colon P1 dot name here. I have to print the person one name and some spaces plus age colon, so I'll give it as p1 dot age here. So that way, I'm trying to print the content here. So now when I execute it, look at the output here. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, right. So now when I execute it, look at the output what I get here. See, person details, okay, person details, name Tom, age 20. Okay, name Tim, age 22. So that way, you'll get the output in the brilliant manner here, okay, in a beautiful sentence format here. If you don't want this, you can delete it also. It works fine. So now when I execute it, did I get the expected content here? Yes, I got the expected content here. See here, name Tom, age 20. Name Tim, age 22. So this is all about constructors, this keyword, and a lot of important topics which we have covered here. Got the clarity here? This is all about the entire process, guys. Okay. So anyone having any questions here as of now here? Anyone having any questions, guys, as of now here? Let me know here. Okay. So now here, okay, so these are the few things which we are supposed to understand here. Okay, now clear, great here. Okay, so now there are a couple of questions here. Okay, so let me try to explain it to you all. Okay, the first question is when something can be accessed from any part of the program, it is called as global variable. Correct. Okay. So there's one question, guys. Okay, I'll just copy paste in your chat box as well. Okay, so you can read the question here. So so that it becomes easy for explaining, because I can explain it to everyone. Okay. So when a program can be accessed, when something can be accessed from any part of the program, it is called as global variable. Yes, because if you declare any variable within the class here, you can access it everywhere. You can access it everywhere. So we call it as a global variable. Okay, a program can have more than one class. Now a variable is defined in a class can be accessed in that class only and not the other class of that program here. So see, what are you trying to tell here? A program can have more than one class. Okay. Program in the sense, what do you mean, Mahanti? Does it mean one source file or nested classes? What do you mean here? One source file and multiple classes? One source file here. Okay, so that way we can create an object and access it, right? See, if it's a global variable, but we have to check if it's static or non-static. Correct. If it is static here, you will access it with the help of class name. And if it is non-static, you will access it with the help of object creation. So that way it's also a global variable. Okay. So, okay, that is what is happening over here. Okay, see here, generally what is happening over here. I'll tell you the confusion here. Okay, see, I'll have one class called as, for example, vehicle. Okay, I'll have a class called as vehicle. Okay, now see here, guys, I have a class called as vehicle over here. Now what is he trying to tell here is I have one variable int x equals to 10. So I can have multiple programs in one source file. Say I can have one more class also, class bike over here. Okay, so now here when I try to have bike, okay, I'll tell you why it's giving an error here. Okay, just wait for it. Okay, just wait for it. So now here the class name, see here, I'll have my main method over here. Okay, so I'll generally have my main method. So the class name and the file name should always be same. See, the class name is bike here. Okay, oh, bike is already there. No, let me take car here. Car is there. Oh, car is also there. We'll take bus here. Okay, see here generally. But now when I tend to execute it over here, I'll get always the latest output here. The reason is because the class in which the main method is there, that should be my file name. See, vehicle is my class and that is my class name and the file name. But the class which has the main method, that should be my file name. So therefore, what I generally do here is, wait here, I'll just write it as test here. Okay, I'll just rename it. Just a moment, guys. I'll explain you what is happening over here. Yeah, great. Just a moment, just a moment. So the line numbers, right click, do it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so here I'll have it as a test class. Okay, clear everyone? Cool here. See what is happening here. I have a class called as test and the file name and the class name is same, correct, and I have my main method, correct. Now x is a non-static variable inside the vehicle class. It's a global variable. I can access it outside the class also. How? You have to create an object of vehicle, okay, vehicle v equals to new vehicle, okay, and you have to tell sys out v dot x here. That way you'll be able to access. When I tell global variable, it can be accessed throughout, correct, with the help of object creation or with the help of class name, because it's either static or non-static, right? So we can access it throughout. Either in the same source file we can have multiple classes, but the class which has the main method, okay, that should be my file name here. Okay, so you can have any number of classes in one source file, okay, but make sure you try to do this entire data. Got it now here? Perfect, guys. Okay, so this is one confusion he had. Okay, so I hope you all got the clarity. Okay, now, and I was talking about constructor initialization. You know, how do we initialize the content here? Okay, so this is all about the various things with respect to constructors, guys, and we have a few things which we need to understand in the coming session. And today I'll forward definitely the assignment regarding constructors. Okay, I'll forward it. I forgot. Okay, but definitely I'll assignment immediately. I'll forward it here so you can work around with this. Okay, so what did we discuss in today's session, guys? We started with something called as constructors, right? What are constructors here? It's a set of instructions used for initialization and instantiation. Class name and constructor name should be same, and it will never have return type, and it will get executed during object creation, right? And syntax we know, and there are two types of constructors: default, custom. And if the compiler generates, it's default. If the programmer generates, it's custom. Okay. Custom constructor can be seen, default constructor cannot be seen. Okay, and custom constructor might be parameterized or non-parameterized, and both the constructors cannot be present at a time. Okay, default and custom cannot be present directly. Okay, and then we know what is global variable and local variable. If a variable is present inside a class, it's global. Member, okay, we call it as member. We can access it throughout. Local is specific to that specific block. Okay, within that block if I write it, so it is that specific block. Okay, and this keyword, it is used to point to the current instance or the current object, because generally what happens, the local variables and member variable names, if it's same, no, then there is some ambiguity created. So therefore this is used to differentiate between the member variable, I mean the current objects variable, and the local variable. Okay, so these are the few things which we need to understand. I will be talking about one more example in the next session. Okay, what is it? I'll tell you later. Okay, we are almost done with constructors, guys. We are done with most of the things with respect to constructors here. Okay, so anyone having any confusion here? Okay, so now here there's one confusion here, sir. Can we have local variable as static, sir? Okay, that's one confusion. Okay, so here I gave you one differentiation now. Okay, look at this differentiation, what I have told you. Variables are of two types: member, local. Member can be classified into static, non-static, but local cannot be written it as static or non-static. No, that's not possible. See, if you have a static method, okay, static void m1, it's a static method, correct? If you write a variable int x here, it will obviously behave as it is written only within the static method. So obviously it belongs to static, no, because it is accessible only within here. If you have a non-static method m1, if you define a variable x here, this is a non-static method. So non-static meaning it is accessible only within that. No, it will behave as non-static. So local variables, we don't have types under that. Okay, local variables, we don't have types. It's only local, specific to that block. Okay, clear. Great, guys. Okay, so we are done with the session for today, and assignment I'll immediately forward here. Okay, I want the assignment here. Okay, and tomorrow you won't have any session. Okay, tomorrow you won't have any session here. The next session will be on Monday. So, and I'll schedule the timings. I'll plan up and I'll let you know the timings here. Okay, if you have any doubts, drop me a message. We'll definitely look into it. Okay, great, guys. Okay, so we shall wind up a session for today and catch up on Monday. Okay, so thank you all. Take care. Bye bye. Happy weekend.